Hey, it's Michael DeSilvis in the news. We're in the dark. No, not really. We're in the dark about a lot of things. No, wait, watch this. Woo, woo. It was a lunar light indoor eclipse. No, just kidding. But anyway, in the news today, in the news for April the 4th, 2015. Can you believe it? I can't. But it's true. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But anyway, in the news today, I want to tell you, top of the news, I want to say hi. A salute out to Alex Jones. He's recovering really nicely from what I hear from people that are closest to him. He had a little bit of pain, but he was in there doing his show on Thursday on InfoWars. And also today, he was in there doing a wonderful job, doing it some there. And taking it easy, though. That's the key thing. He's taking it easy. He doesn't want to pop any of the stitches, which I don't blame him because he just had a hernia surgery, and that's a pretty big ordeal, where some of his intestines were sort of sticking out a little bit. So they had to go in there and sew it back in and put it back in and stitch it all up because he had a pretty big hernia. It's about as big as a silver dollar. So they fixed that, and he is recovering really good. And also, we want to report that the plane that went down the Alps mountains in France, outside of France, out there in the mountains there, they say it was deliberately taken down by this guy. It turns out that he was a psychotic. He was taking medicine. He had mental illness, and he was purposely making the plane crash. And all 150 people did die on that airline or bus due because of him. When they revealed the evidence off the other flight recorder, that's what they discovered. And that he was trying to correct it and trying to make the plane even speed up faster so it would hit and crash into the mountains faster. And as a result, all those people were killed as a result. Like I said, our hearts and minds and sympathies and prayers go out and condolences go out to all those families. Sorry that you lost your loved ones, wherever you are tonight. And it's a shame that he had to end people's lives. That's why I say, in a way, even though it might be mental illness, but it also could have been terrorism too. Because sometimes a person can do acts of terrorism, can be deemed terrorism too, because it was an act that he did all by himself. And we may want to rethink the cockpit. The way they have a lock in there and how they have a code to bypass it, so nobody can get in from the outside. We might want to rethink some of those policies and rethink and redesign these doors so there's a fail-safe even to get past all those if and in extreme situations. And to really do to make sure that pilots like this guy, this German guy that was a pilot, co-pilot that was on a plane, if he was seeing a therapist and if he was on medication like that, then he should not be in an aircraft such as an Airbus like that in the first place if he's on heavy medication. And they're talking about approving that people can fly even when they're on Moxicillin and when they're on things like tryptophan and when they're on when they're on lithium and things like that. I think these things people should not be able to fly planes when you're on that stuff, even under the guidance of a doctor, because, you can't even drive. You're really not supposed to drive cars for a few hours after you take it. People can drive cars after a few hours, but if they take it right away, they're not supposed to. And if they're like this, if they're dizzy and disoriented, because that's what these drugs do when it's ingested into the body, because it's one of the side effects. Sometimes it can be worse for other people than generally. And if it's people have a real bad problem with that, like this guy seemed to have, but I don't think it's just mental illness. I think he was really trying to crash it, bus deliberately. I don't think it was the medicine that made him do it, but it could have been, because some of these medicines can sometimes trip things in the brain and move things around and make people do things that they wouldn't normally do, because it's been proven with certain classifications of drugs. And just like all these. We got to remember all these school shootings, that we've had recently and over the past couple of years. Most of these people were found to be on these drugs that went in there and actually, or if they were patsies, they were the ones that were on these types of classes of drugs, classes that, barbiturates or psychopermetic kind of drugs. And that's what they kind of do to a person when they're under those influences. Another thing, they have now removed the check on most. An executive order was passed by the mayor in Virginia. It was the 16th state in the union to pass a law into legislation where employers no longer have to ask on applications, meaning regular, like civilian employers, don't have to ask whether a person has committed a felony. They have removed that option off of the application. So now child molesters may be working in schools with your children, and maybe even working with people in public places. And so they may still have access to your children if they get past the screening process by lying on their application, in addition to not checking the box, because it won't no longer be an option on the application. And I think it's good that they'll be able to get more jobs, but at the same time, I think they need to make sure they screen them so that if they're not in contact with children, I don't see anything wrong with a person that has a child molester background working at a job, as long as they're not in no contact with children. If they're doing a job where there's no children, like working on the roads, I don't, doing, highway work or VDOT work, or where they're doing work with computers and they're nowhere around children, I don't think that would be a problem. But if they're working at a school or thing like that, yes, that would be a problem. So I would bar them from that kind of employment opportunity because of that reason, because children are there. And if they have that in their background, even though they're not violent, that's why they could do a job where children are not impactive when they're working, meaning they're not around them and there's no opportunity for them to talk or have any social interactions with them. Because that's what you want to discourage when you have a child molester working for you. Now that this law is going to affect, that you would be hiring people like this because it's legal, then they can still work. And I see why they're doing it. It's a good move, but also you have to keep that within the screening and filtering process of the hiring process. If the person, you still need to check their background, even though that application, that thing on there saying if you committed a crime or have a violent crime or felony may be removed, background checks are still conducted. That has not overturned those. So when a boss finds out if that's on your record by doing the background checks, they'll put you in a job where you're low impact, where you're not around children at all, and you can still have a good job in a lot of cases, and still stimulate the economy, and still be able to be employable in spite of your past conviction. But a bad thing is if people get by or get through the description process, so you have to look at it from both sides, and they get in a high risk position where they are around your children. That could be a really bad nightmare and could cause this person to molest a child again, or or rape a girl, or maybe rape a boy, or if they've done it in the past. So you really, really want to be careful. You have to look at it from both sides of the goblet, because it's good that they'll be able to get another chance to have a job. But of course, the key is that in the screening process, if they have these kinds of things on their record in the past, they should not be overlooked. And because a lot of times child molesters and people that have assaulted people will lie on their application so that you won't find out. But if you do a background check on them, they may even use a different name or provide even false addresses, because a lot of times they do. So that may be how they get around that area. And they may even use a different social security number, and they may one up or just use someone else's. That isn't working, because these criminals are very smart, and if they want to try to get around children, and this makes it all the more easier because they can lie and give different information. And there was just someone on the news that did that just a day ago when they were being arrested for just assaulting a 11-year-old girl. Was in Chesterfield County, where he was living in a halfway apartment where he was renting it out, and the girl would come around the apartment complex. They're saying they don't know how it could happen to people there, but the girl, when the authorities called up to him, they found out, I guess, because he was talking about it, and that's how they found out about it, and somebody reported, which was good that they did, because a lot of times people like that will brag about having sex with a younger girl, or doing something with a girl. If they're a pedophilia, they'll often, talk about it, because it's like, a trophy to them. And it's a victory, so they'll go and brag about it. Oh yeah, she was hot. Yeah, oh man, yeah, I definitely, I did that to her, because they think it's something good to talk about. But and that's how they often get caught, because pedophiles talk about girls, but instead of talking about adult women, that's fine to talk about them like that. But when you talk about underage girls, that's because they often will do that, because they brag about their crime, because it's a fetish to them. It's a desire. It's like a demonic kind of impulse to them. So they talk about it just like when regular people that engage with that kind of relationship with adult girls, they're 21 or older. That's fine with that. But they're talking about it they'll do the same thing with underage if they get caught. So that's just reminiscent of what they do. So, that's probably how he got caught, and then somebody reported it, which I would have done the same thing in a heartbeat. and that's how he was arrested. And of course, the girl, which is really weird, she's 11 years old and she's underage, and she's saying that what this guy did to her was not rape, it was consensual sex, but she's not old enough to make that decision. So, so that's pretty interesting. But anyway, that's some of the things going on in the news around town locally. We had a warm day today. We'll probably have some thunderstorms tonight, but the severe warning for this area has been downgraded to maybe strong storms. They'll come in between 4 or 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, or I should say today, Saturday morning, because we're getting this out rather late. And so definitely be looking out for that. And if you have furniture outside that's light, you might want to bring it in. If you haven't already done so, I would do that before now. Right now, between before 4 and 6 a.m. this morning, because it may get real windy. Because even with strong storms and even with regular storms, you can still have gusts of wind or straight line winds with often these springtime fronts that come through, these cold fronts. But it's not going to be really cold. It's going to be like, instead of being in the near low 80s like it was today, it'll be in the low to middle 60s tomorrow. So it's still going to be nice for Easter Eve. Well, I say Easter, the night before Easter. And then when Jesus Christ arose on Easter Sunday, it's going to be around 70 in the low 70s. So it's going to be upper 60s, low 70s in Virginia. So it's going to be really nice for all your Easter egg hunts and all your Easter bunnies and all that good stuff at church and things that are going on for the children. So that ought to be good. So anyway, that's just some of the things going on. And, please subscribe to us. This is listener supported and prompt free. I'm not reading no teleprompter like Obama. He sounds like he's reading something a lot of times when he's talking, but no, this is all natural. So when I make a mistake, or when I try to get my words out and try to rephrase some stuff when I was talking just a few months ago to make sure it comes out right, that's all live. And it's no teleprompter here at all. It's all straight off the top of my head. So subscribe down below. Please donate to us. Use your fingers. If you got them, use your feet, however you do it. And we love you. Don't matter what color you are, because God loves you. And we're not racial. And you shouldn't be either. And we're subscriber supported. And please, you can donate to logos.com to make a donation to help us with our book balance there at logos.com. And my name is Michael, Mikel, DeSilvis, D like Dickens, E like elk, S like silver, I like igloo, L like labor, V like victory, I like igloo, and S like silver. That's my last name. You give them that when you call the account department. The 1-800 number is on the top right-hand corner on the logos.com page, and I don't have it. So just go there and type that in your computer, and they'll take you right to there. Call and ask them for the account department. Give them my name. Give them my email account. It's a Gmail account. It's Mikel, all lowercase. B as in boy, T as in Tom, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, 71@gmail.com. Just say I would like to make a donation to pay, maybe 1 month of his Logos payments, or if you feel that generous, which I hope some of you all do, or I would like to give a $50 or $25 book credit, or I would like to buy some books to add to his account off his wish list, which I see some of you all patrons have done that, which I really do appreciate that. I hope more of y'all will, and you can donate to us and send it to us by snail mail. That's at New Hunter Church of Christ, and underneath you want to put 7110 New Hunter Road, apartment 423, Mechanicsville, Virginia, 23111. We need your support, and we definitely do at this time. So please help us any way you can, and please tell people about us, and please subscribe with us. Thanks a lot. Remember, you can watch for free and you can subscribe for free. And if you feel moved by helping and you like what we're doing as an independent media consortium, then please feel free to donate, because we really do need it. At all the stuff that I provided, down below. Give us a call, 804-789-9373 for more details about our services, church services, and our IT services, and other services that we do here, and the products that we sell. Take advantage of all the stuff that we do here. I guarantee you it'll make it worth your while, and you'll save a lot of money too. And plus, you're helping out a ministry and an independent media source. And we give you good quality products and services here. Thanks a lot for your support for those that do. See you later. Bye for now. Michael DeSilvis in the newsroom.